Hi guys, it's Kelly. I hope you're doing well. So today is October 13th, Friday the 13th, and tomorrow we have a solar eclipse and new moon in Libra. And so that is going to be on the theme of relationships and individuality and these polarity points. You know, who am I in relationship? Do I lose myself in relationship? What do I want as an individual? How do I balance relationship and my individual needs? That's kind of the theme. You could look at other astrologers to go deeper than that, but that's basically what the theme is. And so, probably unsurprisingly, I've had a number of women reaching out who are in the throes of some relationship challenges. And there's a theme coming up that I wanted to talk about today. And the theme is the Narcissist-Empath dynamic. That's what we call it. That's what it's commonly referred to as. I don't love the title, but people recognize it when you say that. Now, I've lived in that dynamic. Okay, I've had very narcissistic relationships. I've had very abusive relationships. I've had to do a lot of healing from that. I no longer do. I'm in a loving, beautiful partnership. I mean, it's not perfect. You know, he's not perfect. I'm not perfect. But we have a really lovely relationship happening. And so I've really healed from this pattern. It's a pattern that gets us in this narcissistic, empathic dynamic. And I wanted to just share a few points just to help women out who are struggling with this in their life. Because it's, first of all, it's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of fighting and arguing. It's lonely. It's painful. It feels desperate. It's a really difficult scenario to live through. Very hard. So I wanted to give some women out there that are contending with that just a few tidbits, a few things that might help you. Okay, so number one, we don't convince people to love us. We don't convince people to love us. And that's very common in these relationships, try to convince the person to love me, treat me better. You don't treat me very well. We've got to stop convincing people because they've shown us where they're at. They've shown us their A game and they just don't have the skill set. They just don't have the skill set to be loving. It's really confusing, but he says he loves me. And I know I love him. Okay, you can say I love you, but is their behavior congruent with someone who's loving? And if it's not, they don't have the skill set, okay? That's one thing, just accept they don't have the skill set to be loving. They don't have the skill set to treat you better, okay? Number two, we don't convince people to get help. A lot of these men have mental health issues. A lot of these men are very resistant to accountability. And so what tends to happen in these relationship patterns is the woman keeps trying to convince him to get help. You need to get help. You need to get help. You need to be better. If they wanted help, they would get help. No one ever heals because someone else has convinced them to do it. No one ever heals because someone else gave them an ultimatum. No one ever does it for someone other than themselves. If they were going to do it, they would have done it. Period. And that's something to accept. If they were going to do it, they would have done it. We don't convince them to treat us better and to love us. We don't convince them to go get help. We propose it. We say, hey, honey, you see like you're really struggling. I love you and I don't want you to struggle with this. You know, would you like some support to get help? I really think you might benefit from that. You know, these kinds of conversations, I'm not saying don't have those kinds of conversations, but you know what I'm talking about. You know, it's way more than those kinds of conversations, right? There's some real negotiating. It goes into manipulation, trying to manipulate them to get better. They're not going to. If they want to, they will. They don't want to. So accept that. And then there's a third point that I wanted to raise, okay, about these dynamics. When we're the woman in this scenario, we're really desperate to be loved. Really desperate to be loved. The partner that you're with is actually a surrogate for your parents. You were desperate to be loved by your parents. And we've now replicated the scenario of having someone who doesn't have the skill set to be loving, of having someone who has imbalances, they need help, they won't get it. Someone we're kind of giving our power over to, just like we had to with our parents. And we're waiting for this person to give us the love, the acceptance, the validation so we can feel better about ourselves. And we're barking up the wrong tree. We're barking up the wrong tree. We're replicating the early childhood experience. So the real issue is that you have a wounded inner child. And that's the key. That's the root of the whole thing. It's not about will he get better, won't he get better, how he treats me. And I know it's painful stuff, and I'm not dismissing the reality of it. I'm just saying, if you set that aside, that's not really the root. That's not the key to this whole thing. The root of it is your wounded inner child. You have to take all that energy you're putting in trying to right the ship with this relationship and pour that into yourself and learn, fill the kind of the holes within yourself. Put all that love that you have into yourself, because that's the real problem, right? Is that we're betraying ourselves and we're self-abandoning. So there's real healing that needs to happen with us, with our wounded inner child. That's what I did, and I healed from it. And then when I was single, I saw the narcissist come in, and I was like, no, I know what this is about. And I was like, no way. I have really firm boundaries. I have great boundaries. I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm able to have those difficult conversations. So where to go from here? Connect with someone who works in this field, who can guide you out, who can help you focus on the things you actually need to focus on, not the distraction, which is the guy in the situation is a big distraction of your energy and your focus. It needs to be here. It needs to be all up in here. That's the only way out. That's the only way out of this, is to invest in yourself. And so find someone who is a therapist or a healer, such as myself. Not everyone is going to want to work with me. Those who want to work with me can. That's not the point. The point is to find someone who has done this themselves. They have broken the pattern of being in narcissistic relationships, so they know what they're talking about. They've done it. They've not just read it from a book, and now they're trying to help you from this place where they don't have direct experience. You want someone who has direct experience, okay? So connect with someone who has direct experience, whether they're a therapist or a healer, and they'll help you navigate your way out. All right. So much love to you on this solar eclipse with the chaos and kind of the way the energy is going, and I hope you're doing well. All right.